And yes, it is President's Day, which started as a federal holiday in 1879 to celebrate the birthday of our first president. That would be George Washington, born on February 22nd. Then in 1971, Congress moved that holiday to the third Monday of February because, well, all federal holidays must be on a Monday after what they approved in 1968. And since then, we just made it a day to honor all presidents, not just one. 13 sitting presidents, by the way, have visited Idaho over the years, beginning with President Benjamin Harrison the year after granting the Gem State, well, statehood. He planted a tree at the State House. So did Presidents Teddy Roosevelt and William Howard Taft. But other than some now dead trees and most Idahoans enjoying a three-day weekend in the middle of winter, we wanted to take a look at presidential impacts on Idaho. And we wanted to see if we could do that in 1 minute. So here is your 60-second history lesson. Idaho first peaked presidential interest in the early 19th century when President Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark westward to find the Pacific. The core discovery crossed into modern-day Idaho on September 20th, 1805. Nearly 60 years later, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Idaho Organic Act, creating the Idaho Territory on March 4th, 1863. Then in 1887, Congress tried to split Idaho in two, portioning the Panhandle part to Washington, but President Grover Cleveland refused to sign it as a favor to Territorial Governor Edward Stevenson, who just happened to be the cousin of Vice President Adlai Stevenson. Idaho's salvaged 3 years later, on July 3rd, 1890, President Benjamin Harrison signed the act to officially make Idaho part of the Union. Let's jump ahead to the 1970s. In the aftermath of the Vietnam War and a presidential scandal, Idaho's Senator Frank Church decided he could lead the country into better days. Announcing his candidacy for president in March 1976, Church would actually win primaries in Nebraska, Idaho, Montana, and Oregon, only to concede to Jimmy Carter that June. And finally, 31 years after President Richard Nixon resigned, the main informant in the Watergate scandal that led to that resignation made himself known. Deep Throat was actually Mark Felt, a native of Twin Falls and a U of I grad. Nailed it. Did you get all that? I hope so. In recognition of his 3-hour tour of Boise, President Harrison also has a well-known boulevard named for him in the North End. But he's not the only one with a street named for them across Idaho. In fact, there are 5 Idaho counties named for U.S. presidents. That'd be Adams, Jefferson, Lincoln, Madison, and Washington. We mentioned those before, that there have been 13 presidents that have visited here. Well, since 1964, when President Lyndon Johnson stopped by the Idaho National Laboratory, Idaho has welcomed every president, except one, at least once while they were in office. President Donald Trump broke that streak during his first term, so I guess we'll see what he does during his second.